Yay Media Group.
13 has been my lucky number for a while. Like, it's always a sign of good things to come for me.
This is 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast, breaking down every song, every Easter egg, every era, and every theory. Hosted by the biggest Swifties, Nick Adams, Anna Zabo, Amy Nichols, and Lacey G.
Hey, welcome to 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. I'm Nick Adams.
I'm Anna.
And I'm Lacey G.
And we have a really exciting, fun event for you to go to in a city near you. We are going to chat with Karla from Taylgate Takeover. They are the unofficial Eras Tour reunion weekends, the one-stop shop Swiftie festival in a city near you. What's up, Karla?
Hey, how's it going?
Really good. Right off the bat, you have me hooked. So tell us all about Taylgate Takeover.
I am so excited to be here today. Thank you guys so much for inviting me. Tailgate Takeovers. So as we know, the Eras Tour ended. I went to night one in Denver. And during night one, I sat there and the entire time during the concert, all I kept thinking to myself was like, I want to hold on to this feeling. I don't know what this feeling is, but I want to hold on to it. I don't ever want to let it go. I have to experience this again. And the entire time I couldn't even enjoy the concert because it was just this outer body experience of, the lights and the crowd and people around me who were all having this same shared experience. And the entire time, I can't let this go. I got to do this again. And then, of course, she announced, the second leg of the U.S. tour. And I ended up getting tickets for New Orleans. And my sister lives there. I was able to trade some with another Swiftie that needed to swap nights. And so I ended up going to all 3 nights of New Orleans. Nice. And on the way back, I was sitting on the plane in my I Can Do It With a Broken Heart top. Because thinking to myself, when else am I ever going to be able to wear this? It's basically a bra. And I don't really care with rhinestones, I'm like, and I got home and I'm like, I need to do this again. I don't know when or how, but I need to do this again. And then obviously Indianapolis happened and then Toronto happened. And I had been mulling this idea over for at least a year of like, we've got to find a way to keep this going. The tour is going to end eventually. Taylor is a human being and deserves to have a life and her own privacy. And so when Toronto happened and I was like constantly refreshing tickets for Indianapolis, like I was actually going to go to Indianapolis, even though I knew that probably was not going to happen. And then I kept doing it for Toronto too. Like I was really going to like leave my son and my husband behind to like hop a plane to go to Toronto, which I was very close to doing so.
Sounds like a great idea to me. And I'm with you, Karla, because Anna and I were also in New Orleans. We were there on the second night. And in New Orleans, I was like, this might be my last time to go to the Eras Tour. And it was. I was still holding on to hope to going out to Toronto, and it didn't happen. But I'm proud of you for doing something about it because I just held out hope. I didn't go home and say, how can I do this?
No, Lacey was truly in I've never seen a person actually in denial. We were sitting at the concert in New Orleans, and she goes, Anna, is this it? And I was like, I think so. And Lacey, the way that your face changed, because you were like, but what about Canada? I was like, I don't know if we're going to make it to Canada.
I have no money and no plan, but I had a dream. It did not come true. But if it would have happened, take all my credit cards, take my house, take my dogs. I don't have a husband and a kid to give up, but I would have thrown them in there gladly.
I've never broken someone's heart the way that I did when I told you that New Orleans was going to be it.
It was the finality, but instead of just being sad and being in denial that I'm going to go to more, our girl Karla came up with the solution, and that is so well respected.
Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting there I don't remember what night it was in Toronto, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to Toronto, maybe Vancouver, but what if I don't go to Vancouver? And even if I do go to Vancouver, December 8th is a real date. That's actually going to happen. It's not just a nightmare. It's actually going to happen. And I'm like, I know what post-concert depression feels like. I don't want to know what post-tour depression feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been mulling this idea over. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. But if I were to do this, this might be the color scheme. And I'm not doing it. But if I were these are some ideas for names. And I'm still not doing it, but this is what the website would look like.
That's kind of like I'm so sorry to take a dark turn, but I think that we've all been here before. After you have an animal that passes away and then you start looking at another animal for fun and then you're just like perusing animals, but it's just for fun.
Yeah.
And then you finally go out and get that animal because you realize it wasn't just for fun. Like you're really looking for that next thing. That's what that reminds me of.
Very much so. Very much so. And I decided, I woke up in the middle of the night. I'm like, okay, look, December 8th is a few weeks away. It's now or never. It's now or never because I have to get this going. We are like, if we do this, this is what the schedule might be. We should just follow her schedule and kind of do anniversary or reunion weekends. So Glendale is the middle of March. I either got to do it. And so I was standing on the edge of a cliff and I'm like, okay, am I going to follow my fears all the way down? And I decided to just jump. And next thing I knew, I was on the IRS's website filling things out. And that's where Tailgate Takeovers started. So the idea is that we will recreate the magic of the Eras Tour to the best of our ability. What was so beautiful about the Eras Tour is there was all these different traditions that popped up and activities that Taylor didn't have anything to do with, right? Because it was completely organically created by fans, by us. Walking through the streets in New Orleans, everything that happened was because of her, but it wasn't by her, if that makes sense. And so I'm like, we could totally recreate that environment. It could be developed for Swifties by Swifties, which is why I've recruited our entire team out of the Swiftie community. And this could be a festival environment where we take everything that happened at the Eras tour weekends in each city, recreate those elements into one confined area that's intimate, that has it all. And then we can also find somebody who's a tribute band who could possibly perform at it. And that's where the Lover Tribute Band comes into play. They will be touring with us at every stop. She does a 3-hour Eras Tour experience set. She is amazing. When I saw her perform in December, she did a mashup of Mirrorball and The Archer on guitar, which Taylor hasn't even done herself, which was unbelievable. So we are super excited about touring with her. And so while we have the festival happening during the day, with all these different elements that sprung up naturally and organically during the tour, we also will then have a concert Saturday night and then Sunday afternoon for Glendale and for Dallas.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And we know we're very familiar with Charity Eden and Lover, the tribute band. And that is an incredible show to go watch and to be able to see a recreation of the Eras Tour. And she does such a fantastic job with it. I love her and I love that band. And that just sounds like a really perfect setting. It sounds like Taylor Swift admitted in Tortured Poets Department that she puts narcotics in all of her songs. Sounds like you found a way to take the Eras Tour narcotics and still spread them around to the different cities.
Let's package it. Let's call it Tailgate Takeovers, right? And I'm like thinking to myself, like, how much would I pay to relive, even for a fraction of time? What is it worth to me to relive that on some scale, And the other thing too is I'm like, if we do this, it would give so many people who didn't, who wasn't able to see the tour, wasn't able to go to one of the concerts. It will make it more accessible for more people to kind of experience that environment. Because while Taylor was, the catalyst and she was the centerpiece of the tour, there's so much that happened around it that made everything so special. And that was done by Swifties for Swifties. And Tailgate Takeovers is going to make that experience happen again on some scale. Let's be real. We cannot duplicate Taylor Swift, okay? We can try. We can make a good effort. Taylor is Taylor. She's one of one. But if we can also get as close to that as possible, then I feel like that's something that we should at least try to do.
Definitely. And it looks like, even just looking at your website, it looks like you just have all sorts of things. Like, you've been talking about these things that happen organically, like friendship bracelet making, BFF speed dating sounds awesome, invisible string mixers. You'll have burnt toast Sunday brunch, new romantics flash mobs, Eras themed photo booths. Is the idea to have basically the same activities in every city, or does every city have something unique to their own spot?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for the Tailgate Takeover Festival, when you purchase a pass for it, there are going to be certain elements that are included in every single city, right? So the list that we guarantee will be in every single city: karaoke, trivia, dance parties, Swiftie mixers, silent disco. You mentioned BFF speed dating, which we just met on yesterday to go over the logistics of what that looks like. We are super excited about it. Obviously, bracelets. The smallest man who ever lived rage march. We have that done, complete with white flags and lots of Sharpies to be writing the name of the smallest man who ever lived. Everlore Forest, the vendor market that is all Swiftie themed, invisible string mixers, scavenger hunt, flash mobs. We have an awesome plan for that. You've heard it here first. That is going to involve a lot of the bridges that we love so much. And then an Eras Tour fashion show that we're super excited about. We met again this morning planning out the details for that. So at every single Tailgate Takeover, those are the different elements. They're going to be tied together. We also are bringing in a lot of different games, like Finish the Lyric for who is the biggest Swiftie. Tying that in with trivia, where you can win VIP passes for other Tailgate Takeover cities. A chance to come on stage with Charity to sing some of the songs. So we're super excited about that. And at every single city, that is what a Tailgate Takeover pass includes. Each one will have a few different additional things on it as well that's specific to that city. But in addition to that, we also have special events that you really can't find anywhere else. There may be one-offs here and there, but learning the vigilante shit dance, that's something that people are very excited about. In one city, we have a rage room that we are partnering with. So it will be the feminine rage, or the smallest man who ever lived rage experience. Another one, it has a axe throwing business within the complex. And so the question was like, well, can we bring like a picture? And she was like, actually, you can't. That's an agreement that we have to have with the authorities that exist. You cannot throw axes at an actual picture. So I'm sorry to say that won't be allowed. However, harbor cruises, we're planning in Chicago and Boston. Harbor cruises where boats might be themed with different eras. So you get to pick your era, and things like that. Obviously, we can't do a harbor cruise in Denver, for example.
Yeah.
But we certainly can through Chicago and Boston and cities like that. So every city will have its own slant. Nashville, obviously, we're going to be leaning heavily into debut themes because it is Nashville. So we're super excited to be able to bring Tailgate Takeovers to all of these different cities, but then also tweak it for each and every single one of them to make it a little bit of a unique experience, while also still making sure that the festival element remains the same from city to city.
That's incredible. That really is like absolutely amazing. Like, it sounds like people can just expect nothing but glitter, butterflies, and everything that the Eras Tour gave us. And thank you so much for thinking of the Swifties to be able to do this, because it really has been like, I feel like I lost a job in a way. Like, I'm like, I have all this time.
My weekends are free. I'm not watching the live stream anymore. Like, what am I doing with my time?
Yeah, so this is a perfect opportunity to fill that void. And it sounds like a really great way to just meet other Swifties in your area.
Yeah, we're super, oh man, every day we get excited about something new that we're like, okay, let's add this in, or let's tweak this, for this purpose. For the Eras Tour fashion show yesterday, when we met about that, I'm like, okay, why don't we do different groups? So we'll do a fashion show that involves just the Taylor tots, so everybody that's 10 and under, or 12 or under or something, gets to walk the stage with their outfits on. Somebody said, well, it should be like a costume contest. I'm like, no, these are outfits. They are not costumes. We should normalize wearing these things to PTA meetings in the grocery store, okay? Mm-hmm. In reality, that's probably not doable. However, we can dream. but to be able to kind of throw those different elements in, Charity does a great job with the 22 hat. In my wildest dreams, maybe Taylor hears something about this and decides to sign some 22 hats, and that we can auction those off for, nonprofits for each city. In case she ever hears this, let me just put that out there. Once we get going, I don't know that we'll be able to have it in place for Glendale and Dallas, but we do want a charity component of everything to be able to give back to, people who, foundations that, feed the homeless and animal shelters and things like that, to continue her legacy, which of course nobody can undo. That's a major component that we want to get in place as soon as possible. I'm not sure if we'll have it in place quick enough for Glendale and Dallas, but that is something that we will be looking forward to for subsequent cities.
That's incredible. And even though Taylor Swift is not going to be there, as far as we know, we would like to stress that she is definitely invited if she wants to come. More than happy to have you there, Taylor.
If she decides the door is open, if she decides to walk through it, we will roll out the red carpet for her. The door is open.
So where and when is Tailgate taking over? When is this officially kicking off, and how can people get their tickets?
Yeah, so we're starting in Glendale, just like the tour started in Glendale, the weekend of March 14th through the 16th. And then we are pivoting very quickly over to Dallas the following weekend. Glendale will be held at the Westgate Entertainment District, which turned into Swift City during the tour. They are very excited to have us there. And then Dallas will be held at the Toyota Music Factory the following weekend, which, again, they are super excited to have us there. And you can get your tickets at tailgatetakeovers.com. That's TAYL. Takeovers.com. So very strategically spelt. Tail like Taylor.
Yes.
Well, this is incredible. We've certainly have loved being a part of the Taylor Swift community, and any excuse to get together with other Swifties is a great thing to get involved in and to go to and to be around people who love the same things you love. So it's really exciting that you're out here, Karla, putting on such a fun event that's going to just really give people something to look forward to. And so thanks so much for doing that.
I appreciate that. My team, I can't do it without my team, and I can't speak. I can't put into words how amazing they are. They are all working so hard together to make this happen. And they are all women who are professional event planners. One person has been the production manager for the Super Bowl halftime show for multiple years. Yeah, she's amazing. Another one has been putting on events within the baby world for 15 years on this scale. Another one has ran several festivals for many years. So they all are just absolutely amazing women, all working really, really hard to pull this off.
Sorry to interrupt. How did you find them? Like, how did you find Swifties that had these passions? How did you find the Venn diagram of Swifties and professional event planners?
Yeah, so before we even had a name, okay, and I will forever be in debt to those who jumped on board with this before we even had a name, okay? I sat down and I was like, okay, I can't do this without a team. I've got to build an amazing team of women or men. We actually haven't had any men apply so far. But I need to build an amazing team of professional event planners, right? So I sat down kind of listing out the requirements, the qualifications of what I thought, would get the job done. And then I started posting in a lot of the Facebook groups of, hey, we're looking for the man for each city, okay? And yes, the fact that it's all women with the title of the man was purposeful. And as we started getting applications in, we started hiring people off of that. And so we've exclusively have recruited from within the Swiftie community. I thought it was really, really important that, like I said, this is built for Swifties by Swifties. And you have to be in to understand all of this. And there's a language that we all speak that is hard for other people to understand. My executive assistant, who I brought over from one of my other businesses that I run, is not a Swiftie. And so early on, I was like, hey, can you proofread this and just make sure I didn't make any mistakes? And she came back and I had like For the Hope of It All. And she's like, shouldn't that be like With the Hope of It All? And I just kind of sat there for a second and she's like, is that a lyric? I said, yes, it is. I said, so we're going to leave it there. Yes, it's grammatically incorrect. However, there's a reason for that. And so as we kind of recruited, I mean, she's getting up to speed. She is certainly learning the lingo. And her son is a huge Swiftie and has given her different lyrics to like sneak into conversations and stuff, which she has done without knowing. One time she's like, how am I going to like sneak in? I forgot that you existed. I'm like, well, certainly don't tell any of our vendors or partners or our staff that. But in one meeting, she was talking about something completely unrelated and said, yeah, I totally forgot that it existed. And the whole like team just erupted clapping for her.
That's a secret phrase.
Initiation.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, wow. I said, it's the narcotics, Becky. Your training is coming along. You're figuring this out.
Love it.
That's really wonderful. It's incredible to hear the backstory to this incredible event that you're doing, and we're so excited for everyone to hear about it. And I believe we're working on getting a special link or discount code specifically for 13 podcast listeners. So we'll get that up and running pretty soon. But we're so excited for you. We can't wait. We're excited that Dallas is one of the first stops because that's where we are. So we hope to see you in just a few weeks.
I would really love it if you guys came out for the Dallas and maybe did like a live podcast during the events. I think that would be amazing. I think people would be very interested in participating with that. So I think that would be amazing. We would love to have you guys there.
Awesome. We really look forward to it. And is there anything else that you would like to add before we go?
I would like to add that because we've got this question a lot of like, what makes Tailgate Takeovers different than any other Swiftie event, right? And people see the base price of $99, which includes all of the elements of the festival. They're like, well, that's more expensive than I paid, 2 months ago for karaoke. What makes us different is that we are a one-stop shop for all of these different elements. So you can go wait for karaoke to come up at some bar 2 months from now and maybe, trivia or maybe a dance party, but you're paying for each one of those events individually, which adds up and is significantly more than $99. And the other thing too is you're waiting for that and there's no guarantee that that's coming. For us, I'm like, we want to make this an immersive experience for a weekend as opposed to just one-off events here and there. So we're super excited about that. We are going to be having a sale here shortly, I believe in a couple days. And I would love to be able to get you guys a link for the 13 podcast listeners that will knock off a few more dollars off of the sale price that will be coming out here shortly.
Awesome. And it's really cool to see an event created by Swifties because then you know the excitement and all the elements that went into it. So very excited to see and follow around Tailgate.
Yeah.
See all the takeovers.
It's going to be exciting. We're thrilled. The locations, because that is another question that's come out. It's like, when are you guys releasing locations? Because we have put this together in such a short time frame. We are still finalizing a lot of different venues, still waiting for contracts to come back and things like that. So we've already put out venue for Glendale and Dallas, obviously. Houston should be out by the end of this week. As well as Nashville and Philadelphia. East Rutherford is going to be at the American Dream Mall. The same weekend that Beyonce is going to be across the street at MetLife Stadium. So we will be doing a lot of Tay Bay stuff for that weekend where it's not just focused on Taylor so much, but also supporting all women.
That's awesome.
Including Beyonce. Yep. So we're so excited about that. The East Rutherford date is going to be even more unique because we also are shutting down the Nickelodeon amusement park so that during the concert, while Lover is performing, we will have full access to the park. So any people who are Swifties by association or dads, brads, and chads who may not want to watch the concert but may want to do roller coasters, that is going to be included in the concert ticket. So there's a lot of really unique things that are coming out for each and every city. So we're excited that over the next several weeks, we will be releasing the location for multiple different cities and pre-sale discount codes and things like that too. So keep an eye out on tailgatetakeovers.com. If you fill out the RSVP form, that is one way that we are keeping everybody up to date by sending out those emails. And you'll also get exclusive discount codes that way as well too, as we are releasing that information.
East Rutherford is where Taylor released the Midnights with You're Losing Me, right? And now we have Tailgate coming and dropping in hot in East Rutherford as well. I see you. I see what you're doing there.
It's going to be so much fun. We are so excited right now. I'm excited to, see all our stupid new friends and see how things develop and be able to put something together that, the Eras Tour was so special for so many people. And not just people, but also individual cities too. And people who had businesses spring up around the Eras Tour with themed merchandise on Etsy and things like that. And so being able to kind of provide an opportunity for that economic impact while bringing as many people along with us as possible in the process and providing an experience that is really impactful is what makes Tailgate Takeover so special. And why I'm so happy to be a part of it, to be leading it, and to be working with the team that we have.
Yeah, congratulations. You're doing something really incredible.
I appreciate that. We're excited.
We're excited for you, and we're just a few weeks away from it taking off. Taylor Tailgate Takeoff coming up soon.
Yeah, head to tailgatetakeovers.com. That's TAYLGATE takeovers.com. Get your tickets and have fun. Thanks so much, Karla. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening. The 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. Subscribe for free and leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google Podcasts.